Well, hi again. Last time we spoke, I was in the car. This time I'm doing it a little bit more safely. So I'd like to continue on where we left off. We left off with discussion about pursuing happiness, joy, or life satisfaction, whatever word you want to use. All of which are good words. Happy is one of my favorite words. I think it's a good word. I mentioned that in the last talk. So I'm going to continue on here with just an introduction of what the series is going to be about, and hopefully whet an appetite and an appetite for more. I guess I just got another message there. So to begin, this series is going to talk about some of the main components of how I think we develop over the lifespan and that attribute to our sense of happiness or sense of mental well-being. And I'm just going to touch on them real quick. 4 components, or 4 what I call developmental attributes, are identity, purpose, our path forward, and how we reflect upon. So I use the word reflection, which is how we reflect upon everything that we've done so far. And our identity, if we just touch on that for a brief moment, identity deals with really our spiritual identity for those of us that have a spiritual belief system, as well as our human identity, which deals with our professional and our personal identity. So we start there with really identifying or understanding who we are as a person, as a professional person, as a spiritual person, and as our personal identity. And then we move toward our purpose in life and understanding what it is, why do I exist? Does my life have meaning? What kind of capacity do I have to understand things and learn? What are my interests? What are my strengths? What are my skills? And then we move forward to our path forward. And these tend to be questions like, what is my portion? Usually we see others that have had successes or have been unsuccessful, and we tend to want to emulate those that were successful. Maybe we're interested in the same things as some people that we find successful, and that is our portion, or we want that as our portion, and then we tend to follow that lead. And going back to purpose, our knowledge, interests, and skills tend to be congruent, or should be congruent, with what our portion is. Like I said, I'm going to get into this much greater detail. Here I'm just giving some of the vocabulary. I'm not even going to really get into defining the vocabulary just yet. I just want to kind of create an overview of what we're going to be talking about. And then as we're moving on our path forward, there's life happens, right? There's going to be things that happen along the way and create thoughts, and those thoughts create emotions, and then our emotions elicit behaviors, and then there's struggles in life. I put on the slide here is addictions. There'll be but it doesn't necessarily have to be addictions. There's challenges, let's say. And then the next stage is a part of it. It's, again, and I just want to preface this with, none of this happens in a linear fashion or in a perfect way. It's messy. Just as I spoke during the last session, this is messy. We don't get to a point of where, hey, I got it. I've achieved happiness and we're there. Or I've achieved the ability to maintain a certain level of happiness. It doesn't happen. It's not how this works. Life just doesn't work that way. But we can achieve a better process. And that's really the goal here, is to achieve a process that cultivates and develops a sense of happiness for longer periods. So moving back into reflection, we tend to reflect on our movie. Our life is our own movie, and we watch it. We understand, we criticize it. We have inner voices that tend to be a narrative of our story. And those inner voices oftentimes are very negative inner voices. And sometimes it's like our own worst enemy talking to us. So that's the first part of the intro. And I'm going to pause here for a minute, and then we'll move on to the actual introduction of the concepts, some more of the concepts that we're going to be learning.